Hey, what's going on? Happy Thursday. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the Risen Fallen podcast. I'm your host, Mark Henriksen, and welcome to the show. I hope you're doing well. It's Thursday today, so we're trudging through this week. I don't know if that's the best word to use, but we're making it through. We're grinding through, and I hope that your week is going well. You know, if it's Thursday morning right now and you're listening to this podcast, maybe you're heading to work, maybe you're, folding laundry, doing dishes, doing whatever you do on Thursday morning. Maybe you just did a little bit of movement. Maybe you just did a little bit of maybe just making coffee. I don't know what you guys do on Thursday mornings, but happy Thursday morning. It's the Friday to Friday, and we are making it through this week. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Risen Fallen podcast. If you're brand new to this show, then what you can expect is open and authentic conversations about things like, mental health, self-development, and how to get your life moving in the right direction and moving in a direction that you feel good about, feeling like you are, making some progress, feeling like you're, moving in the right direction is the best way to put it. And if you are not new to this podcast, if you're a returning listener, if you're a returning viewer, thank you very much for coming back to this show. Thank you for supporting the journey. Thank you for supporting this movement of basically letting people know that no matter what it is you're going through, you are not alone, and life can and will get better for you. And whether you're brand new to this or not, then just understand that you are the reason that I do what I do. And that's a beautiful thing. So welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well. It's Thursday today. We are fucking killing it. We are killers. We're just making it through this week. Sorry, this cord's been bothering me. Now that I fixed it, we're good. Happy Thursday. We're killing it. I feel like I've said that a lot, but, sometimes just making it through the week is a blessing in and of itself, and just being able to, go through the motions and just kind of tick off all the boxes. And as Eric Donna would say, and sometimes that's an accomplishment in and of itself. And so if you're just kind of pushing through this week and it feels like a grind just to make it through this week, then you're not alone, and it's a beautiful thing, and you should give yourself a little pat on the back as you're making it through this week. So happy Thursday morning. If you're listening to the podcast version of this, you know that the podcasts are dropped at 5 a.m. on Mondays and Thursdays. If you're watching the video of this, then you know that the video portions, the YouTube versions of these things get dropped on 5 p.m. on Mondays and Thursdays. And I hope you're doing well, whether it's Thursday morning, Thursday night, or you're listening to this or watching this at any other point throughout your week. Then I hope that it's going well. So I wanted to chat about, something that someone commented. And I really do appreciate the people that comment on the YouTube videos, the people that message me on Instagram in regards to the podcast. I do appreciate those things a lot. I do appreciate those things a shit ton, because it lets me know that you guys kind of care. It lets me know that you guys kind of are looking forward to hearing these messages, looking forward to, basically hearing those types of things. And, someone commented on a video recently that I was, talking about last week or maybe the week before, and they had commented, I'll put a screenshot of it somewhere on the video, like right about now. And then you'll be able to read that. But basically what he was saying is, like, I noticed that you always talk about on the weekends, you are doing work. And why don't you reserve a little bit more time on the weekends to chill out and relax, do some hobbies, that kind of stuff? And I think that that's kind of an important topic to talk about, because, when I talk about self-development and discipline and living kind of a lifestyle that's moving in the right direction, a lot of the times what that entails is grinding through the tough times and constantly working and doing things that are going to make you feel better and make you feel like you're moving in the right direction. That's kind of the point of this entire podcast. And it is important to make sure that you're doing things that also help you recover, that also help you rest, that also help, rejuvenate you and fulfill you and fill you back up with the energy such that, you can fill your own glass and you can be able to pour out that glass, whether it's into your other glasses that you have. Like, I don't know if that makes sense, or to pour into the glasses of others and to be able to help them out with their journeys. And I think that, a lot of the time I do fill up a lot of my time with, projects that I have going on. And a lot of the time I do have to, I don't have to. That's kind of a funny perspective, but I choose to help other people a lot of the time on my weekends as well, whether it's with their side projects. As somebody that, like, I'm a carpenter, obviously, so I do have some skills and I have some abilities that not everybody has. And so when people are building things, a couple weeks ago, I was working on Teddy's dad's farm, helping him out with pouring some foundational footings for a couple things that he's building on the farm. Anytime somebody has a little side project like that, it makes me feel good. It makes me feel honored when they ask me, and I want to help out. I want to use my skills of value to help other people, because that actually does fill me back up. It makes me feel valuable. It makes me feel like I have something to give to this world. It makes me feel like, I can help other people around me. And that is something that makes me kind of feel better about myself. Also, I do think it's important on weekends like today, for example. I've done, what I would consider to be rest and recovery. I woke up this morning. I slept in a little bit later than I normally do, which I do kind of feel bad about when I do that sometimes, because it makes me kind of feel guilty. But I'm going to get to that. I'm going to touch on that a little bit later in this episode. But when I did wake up, I did get out of bed, I went for a little jog around my neighborhood, listened to some podcasts. I came back. I had a good shower. And then I sat down here in my office and I did a little bit of editing. I did a little bit of just laid back work where I'm just kind of relaxing and I'm sitting here in my cozy little sweater. It's nice and warm in this sweater. And, I'm just chilling in sweatpants, listening to music, chilling in my office and just editing. And I feel like that is, for me, that does help me kind of recover mentally and physically, because I'm just like, I'm just kind of chilling back and doing things that I love to do. Like working on this podcast is something that I'm passionate about and it's something that I love to do. And so, a lot of the times on weekends, I feel like a lot of people, they start to justify a lot of, some of their addictions and toxic behaviors and say that it's rest and recovery. They like to eat junk food. They like to kick back on the couch and watch Netflix. They like to, spend hours and hours watching YouTube videos. They like to drink alcohol, do drugs. They like to fuck around and just do a bunch of things that they consider to be recovery or rest or hobbies or whatever it could be. But they're actually toxic behaviors, and they actually start to set them back further in terms of their goals and who they want to be and the future that they want to create. And they do those things while mentally justifying them, saying that, oh, I deserve this, or I'll start working on my dreams and my goals and my side projects tomorrow. I'll start working on them on Monday after work, whatever it could be. And, these habits and what I consider to be addictions continue to infiltrate your weekends and your time off in the guise of recovery, in the disguise of what could be rest and recovery, both mentally and physically. And so one of the tactics that I use, during the week is I make sure that I do something every single day that would be considered a hobby that I feel like is something that could be like mental reprieve. And so one of the things that I picked up in the last couple of years, you guys have probably heard me chat about this quite a bit on the podcast, my day-to-day schedule during the week is I wake up early, I do a little bit of reading and journaling, I make breakfast, I head out the door to go and work. I work in construction, I do that all day. I come home, do a little bit of work on the podcast, and then I go to jiu-jitsu class. And that's kind of my daily routine. And I can usually stick to that 100% throughout the week. Some days I miss it. Sometimes I have to go and do something with my family, or sometimes there's always different things in life that come up. I'm sure you guys can relate to that. But as often as I possibly can throughout the week, I'm going to jiu-jitsu class, and that's kind of like my hobby outside of work in this podcast. And I think that if you do something every single day that helps you recover mentally, and it helps exert, some physical energy, it's a good solid workout, or it just gives you an hour to, not worry about the things you have going on in your life, that pulls you back into center, it pulls you into grounding. Something like jujitsu, where, it's an activity where, the only thing you can think of at that time is what you're doing. And so it brings you to the present moment. It's almost a form of meditation in a way. And if you can do something like that on a daily basis, then the need to do it on the weekends is almost obsolete, because every single day you're doing something that is giving you that mental reprieve, that recovery mentally. I think that there's a huge difference between mental and physical recovery, even though they do go hand in hand. And I think that a lot of the times we conflate things that are recovery as things that actually set us back further along the lines in regards to our goals. And so everybody's life is going to be different, because everybody's goals are different. Everybody's the desired outcomes, the futures that we want to have are all different, and our starting points are all different as well. And I think that it's important for us to recognize where we are right now, where we started, and where we want to be, and to align the activities that we do on a daily basis with those things in mind. Thinking about, what could be constructive forms of rest and recovery for me. A lot of the time, it is sitting and working on my podcast, because I'm active pretty much all day, every single day, between working in construction and doing jiu-jitsu. On days that I don't do those, I'm going for runs, I'm doing yoga classes, I'm stretching. So things that I consider to be constructive rest and recovery for me are spending time with my loved ones, spending time with my girlfriend, spending time with my family, spending time reading and journaling, spending time having conversations both on my podcast, on other people's podcasts, and with people that I love. Another form is just like literally sitting here and recording an episode and being able to reflect on my own thoughts and being able to convey those thoughts to other people in hopes that, maybe that connects them and makes them feel like what they're going through is not weird, it's not fucked, it's a normal thing for them to go through, and that they're not alone, and life can and will get better for them. Sometimes it's editing this podcast, and sometimes it's just researching on how to make a better podcast, or just connecting with the people that do listen to this podcast. And so, those are some forms of recovery for me. Making sure that you're resting enough, sleeping enough, eating the right foods, those types of things are also forms of recovery as well. So I just want to kind of chat about that. And another, comment that I had on this podcast, it was actually a DM on Instagram, and it was a lengthy conversation, but I'll kind of summarize it the best I can, because I think that it relates to this topic as well, is, the feeling when you do kind of drift off course from what you're working on, the progress that you've been making. If you live a disciplined lifestyle and then you have a few days or a few weeks of not being disciplined, where you slip off your routine, and maybe even gunning towards a goal like a competition, or creating a side project, whatever it could be. When you have this big goal and you're working towards it, and then you achieve it, or that competition happens, or whatever it could be, you feel like you're kind of in the in-between stage of the next thing that you're working on. And so you kind of feel like you've slipped off course, or you don't have a clear direction of where you're going to be going. You don't have something that you're working towards at the moment. And for people that are goal oriented, which I think most people are, that can be a bit disconcerting, if that's a word and I used it correctly. But it can feel like you don't have anything to work towards, or you're not working towards something that you feel like you should be working towards. And I think that the best thing that you can possibly do is to set short-term goals to continue motivating you in the in the meantime, when you have maybe longer term goals that feel like you can't make immediate progress for in the present. And so setting short-term goals could be like goals for the day, goals for the week, goals for the month, whatever helps motivate you the best. A lot of the times what I do, and this is something that I spoke about recently on the podcast, is I set a daily, to-do list for myself every single day. And that kind of, motivates me to just check those things off so that I feel like that day is a win for me. And as many wins as I can stack up throughout the week, I feel better about myself. I feel like I'm adding more value to myself and other people around me. And I feel like that could be one of the ways you can keep yourself feeling consistently motivated and disciplined, when you don't have this massive goal that's keeping you wanting to do the work that you need to do. And so when you do find yourself slip off course, when you find yourself slipping on your motivation or your discipline, and you're just kind of, falling off the wagon, for lack of a better term, it's important to understand why you slipped off in the first place. A lot of the time we understand that there's momentum that carries us forward. When you do something that makes yourself proud, when you do something that moves you in the right direction, that can lead you to do other things that will make you feel proud, that will move you in the right direction. There's you wake up early, which motivates you to go and get a little bit of a workout in. You go for a run, you come home after you've woken up early and you go for a run. You want to make yourself a healthy meal. After you do that, then you want to maybe stretch, you want to do some research on how you can recover better, blah, 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 blah. Essentially, all of these things create forward motion for you and motivation for you to continue to make the right decisions and to continue to do things that make you feel good. But momentum and these compounding effects as well, they work in both ways. They work in positive ways and negative ways as well. And so sometimes what it could be is you make a slight error in judgment of a decision that you need to make in your life, and then in that lapse of judgment, you do something that is contrary to your goals, contrary to the person that you want to be in the future, and contrary to the future that you want to create. And when you do that, it leads you to make other decisions that move you in a negative progression. And those decisions continue to happen until, a couple days have gone by, a week has gone by, a couple weeks have gone by, or maybe a couple months have gone by, and you're feeling like, what the fuck? I'm a failure. I was making such great progress, and now it's kind of like one of those feelings of like kind of one step forward, two steps back. I made negative progression. I got worse. And it's important to analyze the behaviors that led you to those things. And as well, it's important to analyze your mindset of when those things happened. When were you most susceptible to make poor decisions in your life? When were you most susceptible for that? I know for myself personally, and I can't speak for everybody, but I know for myself personally, I can think of this in two different concepts of my life. A lot of the time, when we think about our own weaknesses, it comes in many different forms. I know that for myself, I feel best when I'm waking up early and I'm going for a good run, or I'm going for a little jog, or I'm doing a little bit of yoga. I get a workout in right away. That's for me the best way to start my day, is when I wake up, do a little bit of movement, do some reading, do some journaling, and then I feel like I'm ready to conquer anything throughout the day. And a lot of the times, like today, for example, I sleep in through my alarm, and I sleep like 2, 3, sometimes 4 hours later than I intended to sleep. And I wake up and it's like 8 o'clock in the morning, which I know it doesn't seem like it's that late, but for me that feels late because throughout the week I wake up at 4 o'clock, 4:30, usually between 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning to get the stuff that I want to get done before I have to go to work. And so in hopes to keep consistency, I like to wake up early in the weekends as well and keep that routine going because it makes me feel motivated and disciplined, and puts me in the mindset of achieving my goals. And when I do find that I'm sleeping in, I'm missing a workout, I'm missing the opportunity to get ahead of my day, I start to feel this feeling of guilt. I feel negative about myself. I feel negative about just the way that I've started the day. And when I do find that I'm sleeping in and then that leads me to be undisciplined in other areas of my life because that's the way that I view the world. I think that all of our actions do compound in that way. I have to think about, why was I, unrested? Was I not disciplined with my sleep and my rest and recovery throughout the week? A lot of the times as well, like when people are trying to lose weight, they're trying to lose body fat, or they're trying to gain muscle, or they're sticking to a meal plan. They can stay, 6 days, 7 days, 10 days on their meal plan, at best, and then they fuck up and they have like 4 cheat meals in one day, and they have like 3 times the amount of calories that they need to have throughout the day, and they just basically binge eat, and that's kind of a form of food addiction in and of itself, not being able to say no to the food that's in front of your face. We have to think, why did that happen in the first place? And a lot of the time it's because, you're not allowing yourself to eat enough calories throughout the day. Your body gets into like this weird starvation mode where you're just really not fueling yourself sufficiently for the amount of work that you're doing. And you're muscling and white knuckling through the day, every single day, to the point where your body is just like, fuck, I've had enough. I need some fucking food. I need some calories. And in the day and age that we live in, a lot of the foods that we feel attracted to, a lot of the foods that are readily available, quickly and easily and affordably, are garbage foods. And so I think that the best way to stick to any of these things is to be disciplined, to make sure that you're making wise decisions on a daily basis. If you want to be able to wake up early, like I want to be able to wake up early on a daily basis, then you have to be disciplined about when you're going to bed at night so that you are resting and you're actually allowing your brain and your body and your hormones to get the recovery that they need so that you can continue to grind, day in and day out. And if you want to be able to stick to a meal plan or a diet, whatever you want to call it, I call it a meal plan, but if you want to be able to stick to a meal plan, make sure that it's nourishing you enough so that you can, continue to work out, you can continue to go to work, and you can still feel good while you are going towards your goals. Being able to eat enough of good things that you're going to get to your goal, as well as actually feeling good. And I know that a lot of people will take this to the extreme, and they're going to say that you don't need to, who cares if you feel good? Your brain is stronger than your body, whatever. I don't know what the fuck, mind over matter. People will say a bunch of different things like that. But a lot of the times when we're trying to cheat our way to quicker results, we're not thinking long term. We're not thinking sustainability. We're not thinking about how can I continue this for months and years of my life. We're thinking, how can I get this result right here, right now? And I think that kind of thought process is what leads us to living in these extremes where we are extremely disciplined, extremely moving in the right direction until, the next day or the next week when we're moving complete opposite in the other direction in a negative progression at the exact same pace they were moving forward. And I think that the idea behind this is to be able to create, a plan for yourself, whether it's a meal plan, a sleep plan, a workout plan, a work plan, a schedule for anything in your life, a routine for anything in your life. Understand that slow progression is the best progression. as something I've talked about before on this podcast, but it's better to get 1% better every single day for 100 days than it is to get 70% better in a week and then 30% worse the next week and then 60% better the week following that and then 20% worse, and just yo-yoing yourself between positive progression and negative progression. Get 1% better every single day. And understand that that's the most sustainable way to get better consistently throughout your life. And you're going to feel better doing it. You're going to treat people around you better doing that way. And you're going to feel like less constrained in your schedule and the way that you treat yourself and those around you. So I think that pretty much sums it up for today. I think that that's a pretty good place to end this episode. I hope your Thursday's going well, and I hope that you can kind of reflect back on some of the things that we spoke about today. And if you have any topics that you want me to talk about, continue to comment that on the YouTube videos. You drop a little comment in the section below here. And I'll be able to answer kind of questions that you guys have or topics that you want me to discuss or anything like that. Or you can just shoot me a message on Instagram as well. Shoot me a little DM. My Instagram is @RisenFallen. But let's get the engagement up on YouTube. You guys like, comment, and subscribe on this post, on this channel. Comment some of the things that you'd like me to chat about. And if you're listening to the podcast version of this, rate it 5 stars and leave a little review for your boy, because all of that engagement does help boost me in the algorithms that everybody loves to hate. So I think that that's a pretty good place to sum this up and end this for today. But just do something today. As we're closing out, I want to give you a little closing thought here. Do something today that will allow you to continue to get 1% better tomorrow. And to think of your life and your schedule in a sustainable way that you can continue to do for months and years of your life, instead of trying to get quick results and yo-yoing yourself back and forth between positive and negative progression. That's all I got for today. I will check you guys on Monday. I'll see you soon. Much love and peace out. I love you all, you beautiful fucking human beings. Bye.